Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy Fallen. I'm here with
Jesse Allen, the writer and director of The Cleanup.
And Jim Probyn, the producer of The Cleanup.
Okay, thank you very much for being here today, guys. We have a bit of a change of scenery going on today because it's a bit raining out there, but thank you for being good sports and still coming out here and not melting under the rain in a way that's going on. But for people who are not familiar with your film, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, The Cleanup is a short film that deals with two Spanish-speaking cleaning ladies who stumble upon a man who's died a very scandalous death. So, and he's the only person that they actually like in the building that they clean. So, they do everything in their power to find different ways to stage his death so that his honor is intact.
Oh wow, that seems very interesting. So let's start with what made you guys decide this idea for a project out of all the possibilities out there.
Well, I work as an editor in Manhattan, and I'm working till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. constantly. So we have a lot of cleaning crews that come in, and I can't really communicate with them because I don't speak Spanish or Chinese. So found it kind of interesting that we both have the same office. We work in the same place, yet we can't actually properly communicate. And I wanted to kind of investigate that whole kind of weird world where we're two ships passing in the night.
Yeah. So I'm guessing where did you shoot, in New York, or?
Yeah, we shot actually in my office at an editorial house in Midtown. So we're on like the 15th floor. So the nice big vistas.
Oh wow, that's very cool. Yeah. So from day one to the last day of post-production, how long did the project take?
It's probably, I'd say, around 6 months.
6 months?
Six
Yeah.
months. I mean, I wrote it probably about a year before we shot it. And then
once we really started going with pre-production and casting, we did like 2 months pre-production.
Yeah.
All in total, it was 4-day shoot.
As a producer, I'm really upset that you don't know the exact amount of days. I just go back to drawing.
And we're on camera right now.
Yeah.
So many films ago.
No, well, we have the rough time frame. For each of your perspectives, can I get what was the hardest part while working on this project?
I mean, the biggest challenge we had is the fact that I really don't speak Spanish very well at all. So it took a lot of trust. There's another producer named Simon who's from Mexico, who's my good friend for 14 years on. So he knows my writing very, very well. Was able to translate it and work with me in casting with bilingual actresses so that I could direct in a language that I really don't speak very well. And we were really pleased in terms of how it turned out. It was actually like a really freeing way to make a film because you really just focused on the mood and the look, and it was a different experience as a director, but it was, in the end, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was great.
What about yourself?
Yeah, definitely the most challenging side from the producing side was the budget. We funded it through crowdfunding, and we had a total of $15,000, which is never enough for any film. We could always do with more money.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about the opposite side of the spectrum. What has been the biggest high for each of you while working on this project?
The Hamptons Film Festival.
The Hamptons Film Festival. And this interview at the Hamptons Film Festival. There's a lot of pressure, man. My whole life is riding on this.
Like I said, we're shooting this in the bedroom, and this is like...
Yeah. No, it's been good. Just I think the most rewarding has been seeing it play at festivals and see the response. It's a pretty dark story that has comedic parts, and when you see people start to get it, which is usually about the 6-minute mark where it starts to click, it's really fun to see the audience slowly understand what we're trying to kind of go for. Yeah.
It's nice to make people laugh.
It's nice to make people laugh.
And what about for yourself? What has been the biggest high for you?
I'd say the same thing. Getting some credits for making a film, getting into festivals. We won Provincetown. I mean, that's why we do it.
That's why we do it.
Now let's talk about the reception so far, because you talk about crowdfunding it, so meaning that a lot of people were interested in making this project come true. So can you talk to us about some of the audience responses that you might have been receiving, and maybe some of the industry responses as well?
Yeah, I mean, what we liked, I think for a short, one of the biggest challenges that I think, and you know, Jim and I have talked a lot about this, is I think shorts are really the place where if you can really make a story, just really have a story be told in about a 10-minute frame, that's the biggest challenge, and that's been something that for meetings we've had and for stuff, it's just a great calling card for hopefully something that we can do where if they can see that we can actually tell a story in 10 minutes rather than just a slice or a vignette, then
we can do it in 90 minutes.
Then we can do it in 90 minutes, and we can do it in 90 minutes. We can do it in 90 minutes. You know, so that's been the strongest thing. Is just that I think you put yourself out there on a limb more, because if you have a story, you really have to pay it through. But I think our reaction, both in terms of the audiences and from the industry that we've met, I think it's been working out well.
Yeah.
So you talked about that you've been in previous festivals, and here we are in Hamptons International Film Festival. What's the plans for the project right now? Are you guys doing a festival run? Do you plan on doing a digital distribution, physical distribution? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Our festival run is doing well, but it's almost over, I think. Mm-hmm. We got into 10 festivals, so yeah, the next thing we were talking about, probably putting up online,
mm-hmm.
and just trying to get as many people to see it as possible.
Meaning like kind of accessible like channels like YouTube or Vimeo, or are you talking about like Hulu or Netflix?
Well, we were talking about this recently, and we have had some bites from VOD mm-hmm. places. I think VOD is for a short film. It's a really big question right now, because the question is going to be: what's the goal of your short film? Is the goal to make tiny bits of money through a VOD service, or is it just to physically get it seen by as many eyes as humanly possible? And right now we're on kind of it's very difficult to tell, because many people won't see your film unless it's on a VOD service. Although many people just see things on YouTube and Vimeo, so it's so right now we're trying to figure that out. But I think it's in a really interesting place right now, where it's kind of interesting to see what's best for a short. Is it just people or the service?
Okay, we'll definitely follow up with you guys, and hopefully when you make that decision, we can plug you guys somewhere.
Yeah, please.
But I'm sure some of our audience are aspiring filmmakers, so I'm sure over the years each of you has kind of obtained a bucket full of advice that you carry around. But if you can kind of reach into that bucket and pull out the most crucial advice, can each of you do that?
Advice
regarding filmmaking, if they want to become a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
It's cheesy, but just do it. There's if you want to be a filmmaker, you have to go out and make films.
I mean, and my thing is the two little nuggets I would say is to sit there at your desk and try to come up with something, even if it's not working. Don't beat yourself up. You just have to sit at your desk and try, and don't beat yourself up when you can't. And then also don't be afraid to make mistakes, because you'll make them constantly. So just go for it.
Well, thank you for that. This is an evolving question because it's changed over the past year, but we asked this question last year as well. The movie industry and the film industry has changed significantly over the past 30 years. I mean, going back to the 80s and before that, when people were talking about cutting film, they actually had film and they would actually cut it. They would look at the film and take parts of it, cut it out, put it together, stitch it together, and you would have a project. But now in 2014, we're talking about Hulu and Netflix and digital distribution and VOD. And then at the same time, technology has progressed at the same time significantly. I mean, we're talking about RED cameras, 4K resolutions, DSLRs, all that. So the technology and the industry has progressed significantly over the life of the movie industry. Where would you want each of you see the industry go in the next 5 years?
Okay. I have a good idea. Okay, cool. I am actually a huge believer in VOD, and the reason for that is I grew up in rural New Hampshire, and the access I had to foreign films, to independent films, was almost nothing. So the idea of having a portal going to everyone's home where you have the option to kind of to see content that otherwise, when I was growing up, was not available at all. I think that's a really hopeful way to go, and that's where I think it is going. It's just going to be the question. The major question is going to be what we're going to do in terms of how are people going to get paid for their work, what model's best, and I think we're all just figuring out right now. It's really interesting seeing Fandor by Ted Hope and what he's like trying to do, and of course the big Hulu and Netflix and everything is giant, and but I do a lot of VOD, and although it sucks not having everyone see things in a theater, I think that is the future, and there's a lot more pros than there are cons.
What about for yourself?
I would have to totally agree. I don't know where it will be in 5 years, but I don't think it's a natural progression. Technology is advancing, and we have to go with it. If video on demand is how people are going to see films, then let's go for it.
Well, what's the VOD like in Europe, though?
It's kind of starting. Netflix is just this year is opening up in a couple of countries.
So you heard it here first. America leading the way, leading the way.
Number one.
For people who are interested in getting more information about the film, we're kind of been talking about digital networks and all that, and digital media. There's a website for the film? Are you guys on the Facebook, Twitter? So feel free to plug away right now.
I am on Twitter, and I do tweet things from time to time. But I think our website's the best way to find us, which is simply thecleanupfilm.com. Thecleanupfilm.com. So we have our trailer up there and updates, and then we're gonna figure out if after our festival run's done, if that's where the film will live, along with YouTube and Vimeo and stuff like that, or if we go to VOD.
Okay, and is there additional social media links on the website, or?
We're working on making more. Yeah.
Cool. Keep an eye out on the website. It's going to be updated. But thank you very much, guys, for having a few minutes to sit down in this very strange environment.
Hey.
But whatever works, right? You guys are used to it. You guys are the filmmakers.
Hotel rooms 1,000 times, man. It's totally fine.
We work in a strange environment.
Yeah, all right.
But thank you very much. Enjoy the festival, and we're going to keep updated with you guys what's coming up next for you with this project and what's next.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.